Hello and welcome to season 4, episode 3 of Fabrically Speaking Live. I'm your host, Claire Rowley, on this special Saturday session, and I love you guys. This session is on our Valentine's project that I created so that you could use this for any type of fabric project that you're interested in using it for. I will be making mine into a notebook, similar to the notebook that you see on the table behind me. And I need to start hearing myself. Come on, play. All right, so I hope that you're all enjoying your Saturday. And if you are in an area where it's too cold to go outside, well, you can stay in and be cozy with me today. And because I'm going to go as long as it takes to finish the inking, or I just get too tired. The project that I have here is a pattern that I created, and we've had so many questions since I filmed Thursday, which is what I did to get to the point that you see right here. So this point in the painting process, oops, we got to turn off that be right back. Why is that showing right now? All right, so having a little flub. So if you want to do this exact design, the pattern is available as one of the VIP patterns inside of createwithclairerowley.com. But you can also just search in your search engine for hearts and flower designs, and there's all kinds of designs that will come up that you can print out and use for your personal use. The VIP group is a special group of supporters of my channel. So they get extra goodies. If you want to get extra goodies, join the VIP group and you get 7 days free access to it, so you can try it out, see if you like it before you commit. So hi Brenda, Tina, Olivia, Wendy, Deb. If you are in Facebook and you want to make sure I can see your name, be sure to click on the 3 little dots on the top right hand side of the corner of the screen, and then go into apps and give Restream permission to see your name, and then I'll be able to see your name. If I didn't say your name, it's because thank you, Brenda, for listing everyone's names. It made it real easy to list off everyone's name. All right, I'm going to do my best to monitor the chat. However, my eyes are going to be on designing this, and I've got some really cool ideas for you for creating the overall fabric. If you're wanting to actually watch the video where I did the detail of the heart already, it will be in the link in the description before, or I'll have some kind of link in this after the live is over. But it was last week's. It was only like 3 days ago on the Fabrically Speaking Live playlist. It may not be in there yet. Maybe just been in our live video playlist. And so that you can get going. And Amy actually painted along with me without the pattern, and her work is inside of the school. And I'm just so impressed, Amy. I'm so impressed. Okay. So I'm really not finished making the daisies look the way I want them to look. And so you're kind of just here hanging out with me as I ink this or paint this. And what I'm using are inks that you'll see if you click on the store link for my channel. You'll see the inks listed there, so you can click right in YouTube and order the inks that you'd like, and or find your way to my shop, which is creativefeet.com. And so let's see here. What else did I want to say? Do you guys ever get bubble wrap in your shipments and think, man, it's hard to throw that out because it seems so important. You know, it's a lot went into making that. And there's more that you can do with this besides pop the little poppies or the little bubbles. You can also use this to help create fabric that has a really uniformed overall effect in a real easy or short amount of time by painting over the bubbles and then laying your fabric over that and then picking your fabric up. But you can see it's kind of flimsy when it comes in, so, and it comes in different sizes as well. Using a spray adhesive on the back side of the bubbles and then applying it to a cardboard gives you a really sturdy platform to lay your fabrics down. And I plan on doing that for the fabric that's going to go inside of my book. Although if I like this fabric too much, I may end up using this as another cover and do another inside. When you make something with fabric inking, what you're doing is creating completely original color. So if you, for instance, when I made this waterfall quilt, that's the Babbling Brook, which is a course inside of Create with Claire Rowley, the Babbling Brook course. If you'd like to take that entire course, it's over 110 hours of video teaching you every step of the process of that fiber art project. As we don't, it's not just inked, it's also stitched on using the Creative Feet products. So to get this to work and understanding how ink and our paint works, the opaque colors, especially the Jacquard pearlescence, these have a medium inside of them to make them more opaque and to help bond the metallic or blend the pigment around inside of the paint. These paints, in essence, become like a flowing medium. So if I start out by doing a section of the dots or of the bubbles in one of these and allow it to dry as I do my sewing or my painting, afterward, what's going to happen is I could then pour a thin color all around them and all the dots will still have their color, but the background fabric will now be the color of whatever I choose to complement it with. So that's the idea today. I'm going to do that and have it dry while I work on the other, finishing up the flowers. So have you guys ever used bubble wrap to do some painting? You can also use this for canvas art as well. And maybe you don't want to have circles everywhere on yours. Well, you just, whatever area you paint, and say I want to have some of the circles one color and some another color. Well, you can take your time on that, except for the ink will dry or the paint will dry before you get to it if you're not careful. So, and now I'm tempted to do some pink and some another color. Do you guys like the sound of that? I love teal. So you've never used bubble wrap for art. Now you know. It's so funny because I was like sleeping last night and remembered bubble wrap. So in my mind all night long, my brain was trying to find the bubble wrap that I had. Just a little part of me that you didn't need to know. Remember, this is water-based, and this is a time when using a sponge would come in handy. I also recommend using sponges with the inks, and was thinking, I'm going to complement the bubbles or the rounds with some hearts and create a whimsical, fun fabric. Unless you would rather I didn't. Can I open this? This is what happens when you don't clean the threads before you close the lid. Oh no. When in doubt, use another color. Okay, Chase is going to be upset because I have a table blocking his way from where he likes to cuddle. I feel bad. I'm sorry, baby. Do you want to say hi to everybody today? Come on. Come on, say hi. Come on. What's the matter with you? You've been lazy lately. Come on. Oh, goodness. Puppy. Oh, here's Chase. He says good morning, everybody. All right, go on. Sorry. Don't feel sorry for me. There's a bed over there and a bed over there. He just likes to move around. I gotta try one more time here. And yay, I got what I wanted. You'll love whatever I do. Oh, Tina, thank you. Always put your little lid covers back on so that it keeps the paint from drying out inside, or helps it take longer. And it's not a bad idea to periodically go into your paints and put water in and then close them back up to keep them from drying up if you don't paint often enough. And I did find my little thingy. I was just too organized last time. The paper towels, this, and a couple other things were all together, and I couldn't find them last week. Or, yeah, 2 days ago. Oops. Well, I tried not to get dirty. This is a bit of paint that formed on the top. And that's what we want to try to avoid, is having any paint be thrown away. So I'm going to go ahead and switch cameras and try not to get everything painted on around me. Here we go. So may as well just... And I like these bubbles because they're kind of wrinkly. So they're going to give an unusual shape. To make this go quicker, I'm going to pour some paint in there. Keep it on the tips of the brush and just go like that. Oh, I have the music playing again. Why is the song playing? It shouldn't be. I have it turned off. Although having a little music isn't so bad. Having some music kind of... Alright, I gotta hurry. To prevent this from drying, you could mist it a little bit with water, but don't do a lot. We want to keep it on the tops of the bubbles. And having it be lighter in some areas and darker in others will add to the uniqueness of the fabric. We try not to have music when I'm live because when I post afterward, like Facebook will shut down the audio altogether, thinking that I don't have rights to the music, even though I have paid for the rights to the music. What don't I know? Oh, I don't know what I don't know. How do I know what I don't know? Unless I find out what I don't know. Yeah, I can't knit. I have everything to knit. The one thing that I don't have for knitting is the patience to knit. Isn't this beautiful? It's already beautiful. I'm hoping my novels arrive today, you guys. Oh my gosh. That might be my novels arriving. All right, let's do this before it dries. You can see the color pushing through the fabric. And here's where it was. Those bubbles are popped, which is fine because that's like a spine area on the book anyway. Please be my novel. Cool. I'm so tempted to go ahead and do the smaller dots, but we really got to make sure that that dries. So I'm going to set it aside. I know one of you is planning on doing something like this right today or to create fabric. Oh my goodness. Chase is really going for it. I'm going to mute myself first. All right, I got him to go outside. Not tethered to my phone. Ah, I love that. I'm tethered to my phone right now. So why was I able to do that? For those of you who didn't watch Thursday's show, on the back of my fabric, I iron my Hold Light stabilizer to the back side. And that makes it so whatever you do to the top fabric, it doesn't allow it to go past that barrier. It's a waterproof barrier. So you can really have fun with your fabrics, and they won't, the fabric, the paints won't spread as easy because of that. Now, if you want to also add body to the fabric and have it be stabilized, then you want to put our stick and tear stabilizer, which is a softer stabilizer. And it's the one with the tree frog on it when you go to creativefeet.com. So this is a permanent stabilizer. It will never wash out. So if you wanted to make a book cover and want it to not have to quilt it, just ink it, then this would be a really good option for you, as this has noise. Bring it up to the microphone so you can hear it. All right. Come on. Here we go. Dirty. How fast can Claire get dirty? And I make sure that I don't have any wet ink on me before I'm going to get into this. And another thing that I would highly recommend if you are a really messy artist would be to use our Hold Light and iron it over the area all around as you're working, so that you can get all messy over here and you'd be actually painting on our stabilizer instead of your fabric. I pretty much like it when my fabric gets a little messy. Got a spot there. Some dried paint. I don't like dried paint getting on my stuff. This is how I set myself up. These are mushroom trays from my mushrooms I get at Costco, and it allows me to put my full water jars in there without, if they tip a little bit, they spill inside of this waterproof container. And then this is one of the mason jars that I created for my mother's 80th birthday party for an outdoor bar party, and I absolutely love them for paint brushes, as this is where I put my paintbrushes, or I let them dry flat. Drying flat is best. And I usually use something like this, but I have one that's longer. I think I carried it off. And when I do dry them flat, I have a paper towel and I lay them down on the paper towel so that the water gets absorbed into the paper towel and doesn't get stuck in the furl and cause the furls to rust. Look at me, not forgetting the word. I'm glad you like my tips. What's your name? Not tethered to my phone so we know who you are. Hi, Ellen. Okay. So this is a unusual thing for me to do a Saturday episode of Fabrically Speaking Live. Do you like the idea of an occasional Saturday session? If you're taking the master class, it's a good time to sign up because we're creating kits for the class. As soon as the kits are done, then we're gonna announce and give everyone another week of the lower price, and then we're gonna shut down the master class because it is limited to a certain number of students. I'm gonna be going live after each technique with each person, so it's kind of hard to jump in afterward. Then you would have to wait for the next session. And what we're talking about is the Creative Feet extensive course, which is an encyclopedic experience in sewing using the Creative Feet products, but also my inventions of techniques, because I'm the inventor of fishing line edges and beaded edges, and that's the fishing line edge. Lots of different things. Over 88, really close to 300 techniques now, and so the Creative Feet Extensive is a complete course on sewing. So if you want to develop a line of clothing or just be able to create anything that you want, with a really effective and the most professional look on any pattern that's out there, you can use these techniques instead of trying to figure out how to use the feet that the sewing machine companies make. Because let's be honest, their feet tend to not help you sew as straight, right? How many of you have had trouble sewing straight, even though you have a straight stitch foot on? It seems to me a foot called straight stitch should give you a straight stitch. So these are things that in each section of the course will have printed material as well, and this will ultimately become an encyclopedic book series available on my Amazon book sales as well. For those of you who don't want to take the actual course, there's going to be just the text as well. So I'm going to be busy in 2023. Are you? And our new Creative Feet slogan is Creative Feet. What will you create? What are you going to create in 2023? Well, you can create a lot more if you know how to do things and have confidence. Like, look at Amy's work. You guys got to go in and createwithclairerowley.com and see Amy's flower and heart thing. I'm so proud of her. So Josie, hi Josie. And now we're going to get to the painting. And this is Saturday, and I'm not in a hurry. All the orders that are labeled are already out, and the postal man is going to pick them up here in a second. You had trouble until you got the satin edge foot. Yeah, the satin edge foot makes sewing so much easier. To me too. I look like I'm just so great. I'm going to do a video with the satin edge foot showing one of these, because we're doing a lot of these short videos, these reels. And I'm going to do one where it's tight on the satin stitching. And then I'm going to pull out and have the other camera showing me, and I'm going to have blindfolds on while doing the satin stitch. You think that'll be a good reel? Any ideas you guys have? Please don't hesitate to comment in the video. If you comment in the live chat, I might see it, but if you comment afterward in the actual comments, any suggestions, any requests, anything you want me to teach, anything at all, anything sewing related, quilting, embroidery, and art, please don't hesitate to put your comments in the comment section. I love to hear from you, and my classes are frequently formed by phone calls just a couple days before the show. If you have been one of the people that caused my show to have a video content like within 2 days after, raise your hand and tell us what it was. And so now I'm gonna get back in the art zone, and I have my coffee. I already have my lunch. I've been on the Dr. Gundry shakes. Been losing some weight. Feeling great. And so it's already made in the refrigerator. I know Amy likes to remind me what time I need to do things, but has Amy showed up today? Tina? if I don't stop at 11 to get my breakfast out of the fridge, will you remind me so I don't get stupid while I'm talking? Love you guys. All right, here we go. And I want you to tell me which angle, excuse me, which angle do you want? Would you like this angle where I'm kind of at you're kind of coming in at an angle so you can see more of my hand positioning? Or would you like this angle where it's a lot closer? Which camera angle is better? Ready? 1. So this is number 1. And this is number 2. Tell me which one you'd like. A doggy class. You requested a clutch. Oh, that's right. And then I did the lace. And I still have the clutch all ready to teach the actual clutch too, Brenda. But your wedding is already gone, right? So what you have, Josie, I believe that's what you said your name is the original Creative Feet techniques and workbook and video, which is a shortcut. Man, I had such a clear voice this morning. Let's see. So the Creative Feet technical guide and workbook covers, combined with all of it, you end up with 88 different sewing techniques. And it's a real shortcut, you go to you can sit down and watch the video and then make notes of which one you want to learn. And then you go to the workbook and open it up, and it's a recipe book. And inside of the book, you create your techniques. This book has seen better days. And you put your little samples inside. And this is based on the workbook that my parents developed. They're the original inventor of the sewing machine workbook. And all 3 of us together developed that. My mother and I helped a lot of the formulation, but my father was key to developing the machine use workbook to help you learn how to use your sewing machine in a scientific way without having to learn how to use your sewing machine. So does that make any sense? You don't actually learn how to do this technique. You use the book and video and you do the technique. So without any prior sewing knowledge, if you follow these steps from the top of the page to the bottom of the page, you will end up with this. You'll end up with a little sample. It's not a garment, but say now you go and 10 years later, you find this garment and you go, I've sewn beads on before. I know I can do that. I'm buying that pattern, and now you can open the book and you have your little notes that you've made. So this is a very efficient way of not learning anything and having access to 88 sewing techniques and having the confidence to use them over and over and over again throughout your life and never have to store it in your head, never have to remember what it is. I'm so excited, you guys. I'm going to share something with you. She goes, don't tell anyone. So you don't know who she is yet, but there's a teacher in Seattle, and I was live on Thursday when I announced I had to move. She freaked out and she texted me and she's like, what do you mean you have to move? And I was like, what is she getting upset about that for? So I called her up, and turns out she's moving to Prescott. And she is one of the few people in the United States that is certified to teach the Creative Feet products and the Octi Hoops. So we're going to be in the same town, and now I have a co-teacher, and so that we can do courses and have events here in the Prescott area. And I will actually have another expert on the feet in there teaching with me. So I'm so excited. All right, enough of that. That's exciting news for me. So good things are coming. If you have the desire to become a certified educator on the Creative Feet, we'll be doing that kind of course with she and I up here, and you'll be able to come and there'll be a fee for that, obviously, because there's a lot of costs going into putting on events at hotels. And all right, enough of that. Just make sure you subscribe to my channel, and inside of Creative Feet, there's a newsletter Actually, when you go to creativefeet.com, it should ask you to join our newsletter. If you're already a member of our newsletter, then you're already on. You don't need to do that again. There's one hair going in front of my eye. Okay. Also, if you're a member of Create with Claire Rowley and you turn on your notifications, you will receive notifications when I talk about things. And that's another way to never lose touch with us. And so I'm going to get to the painting here. I can't wait to paint. But I'm just so excited. I'm so filled with excitement. So I'm going to look and see what you guys voted. This is number 2. So number 2 is a little bit blurry. You know what? I'll switch between them and I'll start with, that camera is starting to have issues. Top tight, top close. Is this the one we thought was blurry? I can't tell because my eyes are older. Let's see which one's clearer. It's because I'm pulled in so tight on that one. Where is it? There it is. And we'll come in a little. So that's just not focus. Oh, you can see my jacket. Yeah. I'm just trying to do more, come closer than I can with that. So let's see. Front, close, tight. I think we're going to stick with that. And maybe push it out a little bit. It's a little close. Come on. Come on, brain. Why is this looking weird? Because it's locked? See, if I start getting more support for the channel, we'll be able to have more money to get better cameras. I really thought everything looked great this morning. I need you guys to let me know if that's good, and if it is, I'm gonna go ahead and start. Maybe it needs more light. Come on, what are you doing? Oh, there's something under there stopping it. Okay, so while I like the flowers, I don't love the flowers because they don't look as realistic as I would like. See, you can really see that. So is it that I'm just too far away? Want to see the fabric really close or really quick? You'd never be able to get that consistent, inconsistent consistency with any other method. So it's dry. I think I'm going to do the little ones real quick because when it's time for this, I really want this to be done and really dry. So say you don't have a big piece of the bubble. Then you could take and think about it and make maybe a stamp size and have paint on a table and dip in and then move it around, which might be kind of fun to not have both of them be so uniform. And so I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this off. And for those of you who want to make large pieces of fabric, you could actually cut these into shapes. So have it be a little triangle. And then if you can stick this on something to where your hands aren't, you don't have to grab it. You know, you want it to be like a stamp. Create a stamp out of this. I don't really have anything, so I'm just going to give you the concept so you can get that concept, right? Once again, for the dots, we want to use paint that has like a medium inside of it. If you don't, use an opaque type of paint for this, and the textile colors would work as well. Might work, but I know for sure that the metallic types will work. See all the little dried pieces that drop off? There we go. And I want to keep this off of my fabric. Messy day. It's okay. I'm wearing my messy shirt. Are any of you going, let me choose where you put it? Twink? Oh God. There I go with the sound effects again. I don't want to put this down. Silly. It's so much fun, you guys. And if you have stamps in your sewing room or art supplies, absolutely, you can use any of your stamps with all of the fabric inks and paints. Ooh, look at that. It's like a quilt block. This is when I wish you guys were on so I could hear you talk. Because when I'm doing something I haven't done before, I tend to be quiet. Most definitely would have been easier if I had it put on something. There we go. And when you pick it up, you want to peel it up. Here I messed up, but nobody knows I messed up. Only you know I messed up because I said I messed up. But I didn't have a plan before I began. So this is why when you work with a fabric that's going to go in an area that doesn't matter, you can practice, try out a concept. And now that I have this concept, I would know not to have this one have been in that direction. And I could have had a perfect square. So let's see if I can create a perfect square. I need a little water on this. try to save that ink from drying up. Glue it to the cardboard, yeah. Glue it to a piece of cardboard would be good. I'm always trying not to stop and walk away. At 11 o'clock, I will stop and get my breakfast drink out of the refrigerator. Had a grapefruit, half a grapefruit for breakfast with Dr. Gundry's red vegetable stuff on top of it, which I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite breakfasts. And I don't like grapefruit at all, So what I should have done, I should be thinking of, is that if I want to make a perfect square, that I build it this way. So I'm just going to try to do one nice one over here. So this is my practice fabric. So unusual for me to be quiet. It's almost disturbing for me when I'm quiet. Fun stuff. Are any of you painting along with me today? Isn't this something else, you guys? Are you feeling inspired about what kind of fabric you can create? Doesn't this help you to see that you don't have to be good with a brush to create something dramatic? And so now my concept or my idea is to take the heart, which the first 5 orders to go out today from are going to get a heart in their package, a heart sponge like this. So you can check your orders. If your order has already gone out, it's too late. I only have 5 sponges to give out. I'm going to go ahead and take it and position it like that. What do you think? Isn't that cute? That's a cute Valentine idea. I was just gonna dot hearts all over like that, but now it looks like somebody really put a lot of effort into that. Do a little spray on the sponge. We don't want the sponge real wet. This is about creating a masking. And I'll just put one in there, even though it's not perfect. And that one had more water on it, so it has more of a solid appearance. But now it is starting to bleed a little bit, so that's what I'm speaking about when I say you don't want to get it wet. You want to keep it to have that same appearance as the dots, and to make sure that this actually is a masking. So it's just like thick paint on there. And I was like, okay, I could do this to speed it up. Inconsistently consistent, remember? That's the key to making your art not ever look like you made a mistake. Since this is a Valentine project, definitely going to use more paint when you do this. What do you guys think so far? Any comments? Oh, I haven't seen comments because it's stuck. I gotta see what you guys have been saying. Something got stuck. Oh boy. I missed a lot of your comments, you guys. And you guys are talking to each other, which is great. I love it when you do that. You could use a circle of tape in a pinch. Yeah. And the stick and the liquid-based glue is good for so many things. I'm like, I mean, we could actually stick something on the back of a bowl too. You know, anything that you can do to not have to hold it in your fingers. But hey, I got dirty. That's all right. So now, is there another color that would go nicely with this? What do you think? What's your first desire for color? Do you think purple would go nicely? Ooh, I have an idea. I can cut this into a heart by folding a square in half. Look at that, my transition button works today. Like this. And this, oops. There we go. Now we have heart-shaped bubbles. And I can switch from pink to purple. Purple goes with everything, right, you guys? I gotta wet my brush a little bit. Don't want it to dry out. It's a real close-up shot, you guys. As I try to open my purple. And then you want to keep this wet. So you get to have a container where you can drop it in with some water so that the paint doesn't dry up the sponge. So now it's just in there. It's too close up. There we go. So it's damp and it's in there staying moist. And I'm going to add some purple to this container. And once again, that same concept that I used to build the flowers and everything was if you have your colors mixing in that you already had, so the pink mixed with the purple makes the tones match nicely. I would imagine this would be so great on like a little girl's top. And so now I've set it here. I got this paint a little bit wetter than it should be. So we'll see how it works for the final process, which is when we bring in the other colors into this fabric. Are any of you artistic and you're like going, oh my gosh, my art, I could put my, oops. I could put my art on something. I don't have to wait to have it printed. I could just create it. Kathy here. Hi, Kathy. What? I thought you were Josie. I'm lost. Love grapefruit, but not supposed to eat them. Yeah. Grapefruit does interact with medications. Splatter painting, yes. You know I'm fond of that. Just trying to keep the areas clean. Kind of a hard, I got one of my bubbles popped. So we're losing the little round parts right here, but I could kind of make it look like it's there. Here's another one. Just a little impression to make it a heart. So now we have a pattern of sorts. And on the other half, I haven't done anything. And since it's a notebook, I can do something completely different on this side. And in the essence of saving time, since this is the inside of the book, I'm not even sure how much of this fabric will be able to be used. So there creates a very subtle, only because I'm trying not to use more paint. I have not done any stabilization. I know what it is, but I've not done any of that. I have a bunch of art supplies for working with the Beyond the Brushstrokes channel. I have a silk screen that you can buy to create your own silk screens, and so we'll be exploring a lot of different art things in the Beyond the Brushstrokes channel, which I will announce as soon as it's ready to launch. As we're trying to keep this channel more sewing, quilting, and embroidery related. This is a cheater. I just had that pumpkin eater come into my head. Cheater, pumpkin eater. I prefer for this the 100% cotton Kona fabric. Angela, it is dreamy. It has just the right amount of body to it, but I have used Min's shirting material. So if you've ever done a quilt and you couldn't find a fabric, you just need one more fabric to make it all work, and you can match the color of the fabric with your inks. You can have a fabric for that quilt by just creating one yourself. This is more at my alley. I prefer not to have so much pink. And then just by creating more and more layers, end up with this cool look. You can also take a fork, and you know how the fork has tines, and you can just put on the fork tips and just tap and get however many tines on a fork. Is there 7 going across? So you could have 7 uniform tips and just do that in different designs on your fabric, as well as using palette knives, which I mentioned yesterday, so I may as well show you. So this limits, because of its shape, it limits. I can't go all the way flat with this, so this wouldn't be good. And this one has like a little indentation, so I just wanted a plate, and I'm too short to reach the plates that I usually use for this, for inking or painting like this. That's all right. It's still going to create a uniformed look. So I'm going to go ahead and, I don't even know what I'm thinking. You can just do this to the bottom of your palette knife. Do it again. Think about what shape you want, how many of these you want to have come out. Whoopsie. Thank you for telling me it's 11. My tummy's telling me it's 11 too. So I messed up because I should have gone and got my breakfast. But nobody will know that I didn't want this many star streams. So start looking around in your house for items that you could use as a stamp, or pull out your stamps if you already have those. If you're a scrapbooker, most of what you do on scrapbooking can be done with fabric. But I've lost my Valentine theme, haven't I? It doesn't matter. This is the inside of my book. This is the outside of my book. I think I just painted my phone. Oh, dropped the paintbrush. Uh-oh. Good thing I have floor covering. What do you guys think? Is this fun? Are you having a good time? Are you feeling inspired about what you might be able to do with this? So I'm going to clean this brush before I leave and go grab my breakfast real quick, because I do not leave brushes in water. Always get it wet and then try to wipe off the paint instead of putting it in the water. You can also have a piece of fabric set aside that has the hold light on it, and every time you clean your brush, you're actually creating part of the fabric, which is something that would then create this kind of subdued thing with all the colors that you have, and instead of wasting that ink on a paper towel. You like my oh, I thought you liked the paint that I had on my hand, but you were saying you like using what you have on hand. There's a really cool concept that I had too, which is taking, and it didn't go as well as I thought. I should go get my breakfast. To make a sewing theme, like if we can get something to hold on to that, like one of these clips. Nope. And I have everything I need to make these little things. You'd use, say, like epoxy to set this onto something, and then have it attached to a piece of wood or anything that you might have. So in lieu of that, you can take and just paint the side of your safety pin. This would be cute on like a baby's project. So now I have that safety pin there, and I just push on it and pick it up. Almost. Definitely something to do with another method or having it glued to something. And it doesn't see this side of the safety pin because it concaves. So think about that. Last time I showed safety pins, I laid them out and I sprayed over the safety pins. And I think this is dry enough. Here's my spray bottle. So you can take little spray bottles, and this is the kind of stuff you can get in the travel department of your grocery store or your pharmacies. They have little tiny spray bottles. I do not like this one. This one leaves lots of big drops. And since this color is nowhere in this design, I don't want to use it because I want to like what I'm doing. I'll just do it right here. This ink has been in here for a long time. So see, this one drips. This spray bottle just doesn't, it never did spray well. It does these big drops. But this is what I was going to say is see how it actually looks very nice with this. See how the purple is still purple on there? And so what if this is inconsistent? It does go nicely, so I'm just going to spray it in a messy way. Now look at how it's becoming more like fabric. But I left a bunch of these inside of my water, and I came back the next day and they were all rusted. So if you're going to use safety pins, clean it right away. Don't leave it sitting. There, something was really bugging me. Another way of doing this, instead of using a spray bottle, but if you can get a really good spray bottle, it's an awesome way of building your fabric. You don't need... Somebody wrote something about a pot plant. I don't know what a pot plant looks like. I don't think I said anything like that. Did one of you guys talk about that? So another method is to just take, and this I believe is just water. Nope, there's some purple in there. So now I can pour purple. Just doing drops and letting it spread out. And I'm doing this right over my project because the whole light stops it from going through. And this has been sitting in here for a long time. So it's just a little bit of the purple, and it looks kind of like a lavender. Is this fun, you guys? I'm having fun. Are you having fun? There are 7, on a marijuana leaf, there are 7 things. Yes, 7 fingers on each leaf. What are you guys talking about? I felt like that looked more like a like a due north kind of thing, kind of symbol. So I think that this will be nice all over. And now, even though I'm going over the heart will not be lost. I have no control over you in the chat. You do what you want. You are having fun, good. I don't need any kind of drugs. I'm always a little bit wacky. It's so scary though. But see how clean that is beneath that? Not neat. So you could be working on multiple projects at the same time. And so because this is there's going to be daisies on this, I really want to integrate yellow into this. And I'm scared to do it, just so you know. Now, this is an opportunity for me to show you just how insane these pinata colors from Jacquard are. And we don't have these on our site yet. It is something that I wanted to get better at. But here we go. So I think I should show you on the close-up, because it's just so astounding what happens. So we'll do a drop right here. Just a drop. And it's just such a strong color. I don't know if you can see. They're really striking. So drippity drip. Kind of like the splatter. And I am going to kind of splatter it. Just shake it, see what we get. I don't want all the dots to be the same size. This would normally super spread, so this is showing you that the hold light does contain the spread of even the inks to some degree, makes them a little bit more controllable. It's getting an Easter feel to me. All right, enough of that. And you definitely want to heat set that if you're going to want to wash it. I'll be right back, you guys. I'm going to, well, let's see. Close tight and no, it's top and song, and be right back. And I will be right back. I'm here, trying not to knock over anything with my bootay. This is something that I created. I will show it to you from the front. And this was done with the inks as well. This is one of the Fabrically Speaking live episodes, so I haven't cut my little tails of thread off. And I haven't put my Velcro on it. And this is going to be a pattern that you can buy in creativefeet.com. It's a whole bunch of different designs for you to do, but this is to keep your hands, you know, from getting hot or cold, and it fits up on every size of cup. And so I will have this before it starts getting warm when you need these. I have not forgotten if you've been waiting for this pattern. So there's a whole bunch of different designs that I came up with. And this pattern is very close to being complete. And this is my vitamin water, because I am being healthy for 2023. What do you think, you guys? Two different concepts I can use for whatever I want. And these are going to be stitchable. Get that out of the way. Now we will finish working on the Valentine. And I kind of feel like it's too pink. I feel like it needs red, not just pink. What do you guys think? I'd like you to vote. I want your opinion. Should I have the heart continue to be pink-ish, mauve-ish, or should I bring in some red and get it more dramatic? Make it more love related. This is going to be my notebook. Leave it as is. What did you miss? If you came in and didn't see this yet, this was Thursday's class. So on Thursday's Fabrically Speaking Live. So you didn't miss that. I'm not that fast. So I'm trying to get everyone to vote on whether or not I have permission to do what I want, or should I do what you want? Even though this will be my book cover. And the question I have for you is, should I keep it mauve-y, keep it pastel-y, or make it more Valentine-y, more dramatic? Everything's dropping. In the Fabric Creations line, the poppy is what they consider red. So that is one option, and I don't like it as much as one of the jacquards, but I don't have it. Or do I have it out here? This is another red. So we got different options of reds here. All right, I'm gonna grab something and I'll be right back again. I need another color. I try not to bring colors, take colors until I need them in case we're running low on something. Oh, I have one here. So this is crimson. This is scarlet. This is true red. This is ruby red. That makes me think of, if you are well read, you've read a lot of books. Okay, this one I think I already have open. This was from my stash, yes. So true red. Wouldn't that be just so mean of me if I asked you to pick which red to use? That's a little much. I like the crimson red tonally for what we've got going on here already. So, but just to give you an idea of the different options you have in red. And poppy could also be used. Oopsie. There we go. Is that my first oopsie for today? Go for the drama. Are you guys drama queens? The sarcastic sisters, drama queen cheerleaders. It's a good idea to clean these things out. Some of the colors become permanently stuck to plastic, and I'm thinking it's all of the ones that have the metallic in them I couldn't get them off. But if you're using like a solid color without any metallic, I would take it to the sink and rinse it so that the next time you go to do it, you have it. And there is a crimson in this color line, in this line too. Okay, well, I don't have it here, and I'm not stepping away again. So we'll kind of look at these reds. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. Oh, I didn't have this one. That's right. We do have it in stock. I don't want to get it. These things kind of spit sometimes. Where is my thingamajiggy? Palette knives help you open these things. So if you can get it to start peeking, it's pouring out the other side. So much for being clean. What do I do with that? Oh, it's under here. I've got that stuck to the board. Claire. Okay. How many colors am I going to have on my hands before I'm done? Looks like I'm bleeding. All right, so I'm just going to let it pour a little out. That's actually not a bad idea to have it open just a tiny bit. Take longer to dry it. I'm just kind of giving myself a reminder that I don't want to get areas around it dirty. And as I mentioned before, if you were to iron some Hold Light to all these other areas. You wouldn't have to worry about it at all while you're doing the detail. But you know me, I'm iron resistant. There. Okay, focus on the element of interest. And here's where I had the liquid base is around each one of those dots. So I'm interested to see what happened here, and I'm going to go ahead and wet that right now and see what we got. All right, so when you dissolve the liquid base glue, because it's wet, it becomes, it's no longer blocking. So the dots did get smaller as I removed the liquid base. So the ink was on top of the water-soluble stabilizer that is now wiped away. So the dots got a little smaller. Oh, I need to get a closer shot for you, don't I? These are also great. These are your little skewers for the barbecue, and you got your tiny fine point there. And if you were to put paint on the tip and you set it down, you'd end up with little points, little cute little points, and you could take it and go around and create a star with that. And the back ends are good for dots also. Dut, dut, dut. So those are always handy to have around. Do any of you have skewers and maybe popsicle sticks around to do things like that? The round side of a can opener. The round side of a can opener. I'm lost. All right, back to this painting. Time to paint. Once again, I'm using the brushes that we offer at Creative Feet for your painting experience so that you have the best possible experience with your inks on fabric, because fabric is different than canvas and paper. And I like the crimson for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and very slowly try not to have too much water on my brush. So when you grab paint, you have a lot more on your brush in the beginning than you do at the end. If you think about where you're starting and work your way out from there, it will automatically become less color as you progress up. Notice that my hand is supported, and I'm using the brush is at an angle. I'm not coming straight. I'm at the side so that I can see the tip of the brush going right along the outline of the heart. And I got somewhere I don't want it, but that's all right. I don't even know really what look I'm going for right now. I'm still deciding how much real red I want on here. And I'm going to need to get it a little bit wet. So I'm going to control the amount of water I use by putting it in one of these reservoirs and only grabbing a dot, just a little dot of water, and putting it here instead of in the trough with the paint. So a little bit of water out here. It's not as likely to bleed out because we're going into the middle instead of coming out. So a little bit of water. What do you guys think? Better? And I'm trying to finish this today because Thursday I'm going to teach you guys how to stitch on it for a fiber art lesson on using the octi hoops. But if you're not a sewing person, you can also stitch on it with hand stitching or use this however you like. You don't have to sew on it at all. So the more water you use, the more translucent it becomes. So if you have the Octahoops and you've been resistant to learning, this is a great little, small project. Get them out, start carrying them around so that you can get ready. Actually, I was going to mention that and show you. A little bit of water, come in from the middle with the water. This is called scrubbing. So I'm doing little scrubbing movements. Very slow, very careful around these daisies. I get real quiet when I have to concentrate. Sorry, guys. Coming in between these little petals. And I did have to bring the tip. I had to bring the brush up to get to that very fine tip. And a little bit more water, but not too much, to make it inky in its consistency. Now I added just water to kind of spread it out in the scrubbing. Try not to ruin the brush. We're not scrubbing in this direction, we're scrubbing sideways. So blurry. I wish you guys could see it as well as I can see it. Let's see. Maybe it's just too close. I need new cameras. They're all pretty old now, so. All right. I need to get a shadow effect from the fact that the daisies are above the heart. And I used purple already around the flowers, but it has kind of a cartoony look to it. So it really depends on what you want it to look like when you're finished. As to the approach that you'll want to take, I'm going to do more red too, so, but I'm just kind of thinking ahead. I think a color like this, which has kind of an orangish color, this is gold yellow in the neopaque jacquard line, and it has kind of a orange, kind of like when the sun is going down. And I am going to use that to go around these petals to make the center of the daisy pop up. And so I picked that now, thinking, all right, so a shadow will show up more on a pink background than it will on a red background, but I still want more red. So I'm going to take and bring more here to kind of make the heart plumpy. Got a lot of water on there. Tap some of the water off. Straight paint. I'm also thinking, where's the sun? Where's the light source coming from? Always keeping that in mind. That's partly what makes things look more realistic. And the heart is starting to pick up. And after the show, I will be posting close-up shots of this so that you can see how much more it's lifted. Once again, I'm getting quiet because I'm doing fine details. Sometimes I hold my breath, and that's so that I don't have my breath moving my body. My hand is supported by resting it. So if the sun is coming from this direction, there will be a shadow cast from this branch right here as well. And this will actually cast onto the heart. Scrubbing again to smooth out that. And never stop yourself from spinning your artwork. So if you're uncomfortable, turn your artwork so that you can get the angle that you need. This is attached to a board. And this is just your regular old canvas art board that I use. And I put the Glad press and seal on it before I put and taped my fabric down on top of it. Got my water. The heart actually looks as if it's about 3/8 of an inch right now. Like it's about 3/8 of an inch thick of a heart from when I'm looking at it from my angle. So that's kind of fun. And I've done a sunflower before and it looks like the sunflower's sticking up. And that's the idea here. We want to create depth in this piece. If the light's coming from here, there will be a shadow here. And the shadow will be more intense right here. Got too much water. Another thing that I can do to increase that is to add a little bit of maybe purple to the red to create a darker shade of red. A more enhanced shade of red. Still want it to be red though. Just a dot. Let's see what happens. So we don't want it to be purple. We want it to be red. Glad press and seal is pretty cool. I use it for a lot of things. More red. It got a little too purpley. Yes, it can be too purpley. Keeping the hues in there, trying to keep my hues matching. Now, there's too much paint on this brush. I'm going to unload it. This is when I was saying before, if you had a piece of fabric for unloading your brushes, you could have a fabric that has all these different colors on it. Okay, starting with less. I want this heart to kind of jump off the fabric. May even bring in black to just really cause that shadow to drop. And back here as well. Use in the sink. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I must have said something that made you talk about that, but I don't remember. I'm thinking, and sorry, I get quiet when I think. I'm using my smaller brush. I'm going to switch to a wider one. Once again, cleaning, unloading the brush. Rinse it in the clean water for a final rinse. When you don't see any color coming off, oh my God. When you don't see any color coming off, you know it's clean, and then you place it on its side. Got the dark color, yeah. Much easier. So you guys liking it with the red? What color should I do for the background, you guys? For what's around here? Because I plan on making this have more color. In my initial drawing, I used kind of a minty green. Yeah, I like this red. It's kind of like a vampire red. And that is red with purple mixed in. And this is crimson in the jacquard line, mixed with the purple metallic, the Lemier's colors of purple. Scrubbing. All right, we got water right here. And we've got to create the shadow effect of underneath the petals, but I still need to make it a little bit more red here. Careful. Little touches. Notice I don't rush my brush. Don't rush the brush. I made myself laugh. Don't rush the brush. I'm also trying to think of t-shirt ideas for you guys. Merch, you know, merch. So we don't rush our brush. We are training our brain. We're sarcastic sisters. And we are creatively inclined people, right? What kind of t-shirts should I come up with? Or just different slogans for different things that we could use. As soon as they let me open up the join part of YouTube, you guys will have the ability to like post things, and you'll have your sarcastic sisters badges and stuff. Remember, I'm a copycat artist. I think we all are copying. We're copying nature. Some of my paintings come out of the abscesses of my mind. You know, when I started painting, I was so young. I had to copy. I learned by watching nature, and I looked at art, and I would try to make a piece of art look the same as the other art. And then I ended up as a reproduction artist when I was 19, and that was my job, was to copy paintings, to make a painting exactly the same as another painting. So do not feel at all bad for doing that. It is part of the learning process of art. Trial and error, figuring out, and then eventually you end up with your own voice about it or look. And I'm thinking that I'm probably going to want some of this red to be a splatter on my art, but I'm not going to do it yet. Because I haven't decided that far in. But I am going to reserve this by getting a little water in there. Keep it wet. And now how to get the shadow of the flowers to look like they're cast onto the heart. I'm leaning toward actually bringing in black, which is a cheat a lot. Black. I don't even have a black in here. And I don't know if we're running short on black or not. I'm not saying I don't use it. I definitely do. I love navy in this color. This is true blue jean right here. So if you have blue jeans and you need to like cover up a bleach spot, this is the color. This is absolutely wonderful. And it is navy in the Fabric Creations. Shake, 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 shake. So it's almost black, but not. It's blue. And if I can't get it to drop down and look like a shadow, then I'm going to go and grab a black out of there. But I know I'm running low on black, so I don't want to make it so you guys can't get any. Too much water. All right, so where's the sun? Where is the sun? Da-na-na-na. That's not what it says in the song, though. It's here comes the sun, right? The shirts will be sold in a way that you can choose your color. Oh, like where'd the blue go? It's over there. I have way more blue on here than you need. Yeah. I need to tone it down with a little bit of black. I'll be right back. And it's like, do I have it somewhere and I just don't know it? I don't use it enough to use it up. I found it. Cool. You can use a Sharpie, but Sharpies fade. They do not maintain no matter how much you set them on fabric. So should you want to, and this is another thing I've done before, open, see this is the seal is still on there. So this is how I've been using this black, is by opening the lid. So I'm just going to take a little black and put it in the neighboring trough. Bring some blue over. So now it's more of a shadow color. Hi, Chase. What? You thought I called you? I didn't. I'm sorry. He comes in. I must say something that makes him think I'm calling him. Too much water, so I'm going to get the water off the there we go. I'm just going to get that actually out of the picture. Definitely hold light, saves you on tissues. And I'm not going to even use this brush. Too big. Unloading. Back to the smaller round. And I wet the brush and wipe it off, so it's just a little bit damp. Grabbing just on the tip. Sun's coming from here. There we go. Now we got a much better shadow. And this petal is overlapping that petal right there. Sun's coming from here. It's going to be back here for sure. I'm doing little tiny taps. Tap, tap, tap. Because daisies aren't silky smooth. They have little balls all over the tops of the flower. So we don't want a solid line because that would make it look fake-ish. Sun's coming from here, so we will have some dark behind each petal. Sun can reach in between. Now we've got a darker side to the stem here, and the stem is actually going to cast onto the heart. And there we go. Is that daisy coming to life? It's so blurry. Why is it so blurry? I'm gonna give it another go here. That better? It's like the camera just is run out of energy. I can't stay in focus. Whoopsie. Sun's coming from here, dots. So this is blue, navy blue, and black mixed together for the shadow, for the final shadow, because this is the stronger part of it. The original color was like a lavender. Behind each petal is going to have some, and I'm going to take them into the actual petals, because that's kind of how they aren't a perfect petal. They're kind of wrinkly. So having this darker color come up helps you to picture the petal having that foldedness to it. I painted so many daisies when I was first starting to paint. All my family got daisy cards for Christmas and birthdays. I would bring them their present was the card that I painted them. Do any of you, I mean, I don't even know the last time I bought a present. Almost every present I've given in my life has been some form of creativity. Are you guys that way? Bye, Wendy. Anybody else always give something they made? I've heard some stories, though, of people getting their feelings hurt by people not wanting their gifts because they made them. And don't let people discourage you. This was just water in this one. So I'm adding water to the brush, and so you can see now it's a very thin paint, and it can bleed and into stuff. So I want to make sure that you don't get, that it's not too wet, that you blot out some of that. Want the paint mostly on the tip. Not enough paint. Some of the petals are going to have a darker amount of shadow than others. And the outline that you see on this is going to iron away, because this is, I drew this with the friction pen, which irons away. Sorry you can't see. I should probably switch to the other camera. Why is it still showing an old shot? So that camera, this camera is stuck on an old shot. See if I can't fix that. This way you can see from an angle. There's a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of ink, of paint on here. Rope baskets, are you speaking about the kind that you sew, Ellen, or something else? The clothesline baskets is what I was thinking, I pictured when you said that. And the clothesline baskets can be done, something I wanted to teach. I have clothesline and I haven't done that yet. So that's something that if you guys help me not forget, I can teach. Pearls and piping foot is great for that. A lot of people are using it to make theirs. Set daisy starting to look more daisy-ish. Creating more of a shadow over here, because this definitely would be darker over here. Remember, we're not going cartoon, so we don't want to outline these petals with the shadow. The shadow is going to fall into the abyss over here. We only want shadow on the heart. And what I'm doing is also creating the shadow of the wrinkles in the daisies. Bring a little more water. I'm grabbing maybe 1 or 2 hairs of this brush. And the reason I'm stable enough to do that is because my hand is down on the actual surface. The sun is coming from here, so I want to put color darkness there, but there wouldn't be. It might a little bit here, but not all the way up. And then this petal is behind that petal. Adding more water. Keeping in mind, I want to save my other colors. I'm going to add, again, a little squirt to each one of the colors I'm trying to preserve for later. I forgot to spray inside the navy one. Dab the furl, make sure there's no water. You got supplies for a jelly roll rug? I don't want one of those bowls bad enough to have made one. I've had the supplies for a few years. But if it is something that you guys would like me to do, I'm happy to explore. So dot, 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 not drawing a solid line, not taking this shadow all the way up to the top of the circle of the daisy's center. Sun's coming from here, so there would be a little shadow here. Don't forget the wrinkles. Having fun. I just made a dot where I don't want it because my hand bounced. Actually, that was just dried paint that fell. Am I too quiet today? So notice I'm stopping because the shadow, yeah, there would be shadow here, but I have the lavender already going to the end, but it would be dark here and not so dark out here. And I'm on the petal, not beside the petal. Like over here, I'm beside the petal to kind of cast that onto it. My left arm hurts today. The arm I had surgery on, so it gets sore from doing things. Adding more shadow. So let's see, what can we talk about? What would you like me to talk about? I'm going to do a little bit more of the just random dots to kind of show these shapes of the center. And these are microscopic. This is when I wish I could have my cell phone and know that I have something set up for that, but it really lagged on my computer's just not good enough processor. So I need a new computer in order to run the cell phone live without the entire stream just stopping. I don't know what we're talking about. Lay flat. Next week we might have Michelle in reading the chat while I'm working. We'll see if our schedules align. We're going to give it a try, and because that was kind of fun when she would talk to you guys. Except for we were using her computer in a way that caused it to lag. She was on screen too, and so we're gonna try different things and see if it works. especially if we get as many, because like on Thursday there were a lot more people that showed up. Be sure to share when we go live. It helps Facebook know and YouTube know that you're having a good time. So the secret to really good art is spending a lot of time going over things more than once. Now, before this really did look more cartoony than it does now, and I'm starting to like it a lot more. Some of the shadows are going to be quite intense. Now this daisy center is starting to lift up or raise up, because I'm going to cast that shadow, because the sun's coming from here, cast the shadow onto the petals. And this one's got a shadow that drops below. Okay, now back onto this one. And as you go, the colors change as they dry. See, I'll try going straight up and down again, see if it looks good. Top close. Are they starting to look more like daisies on there? Darn, not focused. Next thing I'm gonna do is pull my cameras down and clean their lenses and see if I can't figure out why that one's not staying in focus, because that one's usually really good at focus. Sometimes you'll see the side of a petal too, not the whole petal itself. Now these are the leaves, and they have shadows as well. This is going to have the shadows be on this side. How are you guys feeling today? Everybody feeling good? And how many of you have snow on the ground? Looks like we don't have any kind of weather coming for over a week. Just gonna be sunny. My sister she uploaded a live kayaking on a lake, and she has like a pond in her backyard, so she was kayaking on her pond, and I thought it was like an old one that she was sending me, because I'm like, it can't be warm enough for her to be doing that on her pond. But she's like, yeah, we've had like 60-degree weather, and I think that changed today. She's in the New Jersey area. Pretty sure you guys were freezing over on the East Coast this morning, if I remember correctly. That's the fabric back there. I'll cast a little more shadow onto the heart. So by doing that, we're taking and moving the shadow further away from the petal, and that's what makes it lift up, is that you have, the farther the sun is away, the farther the shadow spreads out. And this is just the outline of the petal. And I'm starting to feel like I'm almost done with the petals. What do you guys think? Give me a thumbs up if you're going to make this project. I know that the pattern has been put into the VIP group, this exact one. If you are not a member of the VIP group, you can try it out for free for 7 days. I'm going to go ahead and take some of this dark shadow color and drop it onto the heart. I also need to actually drink my shake. So you thought I was done with the heart, but now you can see that I'm doing more. Making that heart even more plump. Keeping in mind that the sun is coming from this direction. And let's see, trying to be a little artistic here and have something like a little I've got completely quiet. The silent artist, when she's dressed out, especially when I did something, it's like, okay, that's not what I wanted. So I'm going to scrub it and try to get it to thin out. There we go. Didn't like it. There we go. All right. I think I like what's there. So I'm going to heat set it. I was going to have the blow dryer in here, but I have to like run an extension cord way far away because the lights and everything in here make it impossible. I'm all spread out. And those of you who are coming up later, this is how I transfer my design onto the fabric. I use these light tablets, and you can pick one of these up at creativefeet.com, and they allow you to light up the design. Oh, there's like, I got something on there. Oh, I got paint all over my finger. It likes your finger better than paint. So if you take your fabric and you lay it over, you can then see through and then trace your design. So that's how I got the design on the fabric to begin with. All right. Now this has been attached to the board all this time, and I'm going to disconnect it. So I can heat this up. You want to make sure that your item is dry before you take an iron to it. But you can also cheat a little bit. Paper towels. I've taken a paper towel and lay it over it and don't move it. Oh, I gotta drink my shake. What do you mean I have thread to do yet? Yeah, next week this we'll be stitching this up. I have thread to do. Don't you dare turn off. I just turned you on. So I was thinking of different ways to approach this because I would generally do all the back color first and then put the heart on afterward. So I don't have to worry about, oh, it's a noisy iron, but we love it because it doesn't break when you drop it. So I thought the best course would be to take some hold light and iron it over the top of it and cut around, maybe. I don't know. Then I wondered, well, I wonder if I put liquid based, if I just paint liquid based over the top of that, if I can get away with this. And since it's mine, I think I'm prepared to try it out for you. Ooh, that's hot. Remember, don't use steam when there's hold light involved, and there is hold light on the back to keep this from spreading out. I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's really bonded nicely to the back. Hold light is the hummingbird, the stabilizer that has a hummingbird on the label at creativefeet.com. And it comes in 27-inch wide, so you can take a whole piece of fabric and put hold light all the way across and have it all fixed on there, and then do whatever you want to your fabric, and it won't let the whatever's behind it get ink on it. I still don't want to get ink on my ironing surface, so, or paint. And I think since I did use the liquid based all the way around this to prevent the heart and the daisies from, oh, I didn't do that yellow that I wanted to do. One more step. So many ideas, so little time. I totally get it. There is just not enough hours in the day for all the creativity that I want to do. This is going to take it to the next level. Now this is very pretty and you could get carried away, but what we're trying to do is create the impression of the little dots and to give it a little bit of a shadowy look. A little bit. It's too thick. I have a tiny bit on the tip of this brush, but it's not wanting to flow, so I'm going to have to add a little water. There we go. Spinning the brush. That's that motion that I do with my fingers to keep from damaging the brush bristles, to keep a nice tip on it. Little taps. And yeah, I think it looks good. I knew this would be just what it needed because daisies have that bright yellow, and I may even go and add a little bit more yellow. Keeping the idea of where the sun's coming from. Maybe a little hint, a little bit peeking through these because this is a closed daisy. All right. So tempting to use more because I just, isn't that lovely? I love that color. So that might be actually good to use as a, I've been so into orangey yellows this year. I should consider that. Let's see here. Trying to think of some fabric options that I like. So how does that look next to the red? Because now the red is gonna be the determining factor of what I use for the marbling kind of be look that I'm gonna go for on this. So pulling fabrics to see what might complement. So you can see this fabric does have red in it, and that navy is a nice complement. Navy being one of my favorite colors in all the ink colors. So maybe, the blue and orangey yellow as a background. What do you guys think? Isn't that looks really nice. That would be nice to stitch as the spine. Maybe I'll piece it. And we have this fabric has some red, and it has once again the blue going and the yellows. So these are complementary colors. So which of the blue tones makes this look the most beautiful? I'm leaning toward this. I think you guys agree. So now how to get a color to spread out so that it doesn't take as long and that it ends up with this kind of watercolor appearance. Isn't that pretty next to that? Of course, I'm not going to create a flowery pattern because that would detract away from this. I'm just going to create like the marbly-ish look of that. So first off, get any dust and batting and threads and hairs off of there. This fabric had a bunch of stuff on it. So this is the navy. And I have a dirty brush in my hand. I need to clean it. I'm putting that off. I also want to talk about your dirty water. That dirty water is ink water. So you could take a piece of fabric, which I did have already. So this is the polyester cotton blend men's shirting fabric that I've used for a lot of different things, and washed and dried and all sizing removed from the fabric. my scissors. Do the big bubble wrap. The big bubble wrap would are you referring to all over the design? I think I'm gonna just, I don't know. I think I want a design that's not a design at all. I'm gonna take this and you can like crumble it and dip it in. And we've gone from white to lavender. So keep in mind your dirty water can be also used to color a larger portion of fabric. Wring it out. And if this were really, really dirty, then it would show up more. Or if you just put fabric together or mixed your ink to the consistency to get the color you want. This is how I do large portions, and I leave them wrinkled up and put it in there and then take it out and then open it up and then let it dry, and it ends up with a different modeled kind of pattern, which is what I did on that sunflower background. So, you know, if you're thinking ahead of time, there is no waste. Every time you have a dirty brush and you clean your brush, if you clean your brush on a piece of fabric, you can then end up having that fabric be, when you're all done, another piece of fabric to use in another project. So this is very wet. You can also take your fabric, scrunch it up, and take the inks that you have in these droppers and just drop right on top and leave it there. And then after it's dry, you open it up and you'll have a tie-dye look. So, dirty fingers. And my fingers got a little bit wet, so now the ink can come off and it could get all over the place. So I'm going to keep this near me so that I keep my focus on the color scheme that I want to follow as an inspiration. And I have another blue with the metallic colors running through it that I could combine with the plain blue jean or navy. So I don't have enough room. Let's see. There we go. Thinking about the fact that I did want to have some of this yellow in here, I need to do it first, the lighter color first, and then work your way to dark. Kind of like watercolor. Thank you. I'm glad you like the tips. Can't remember which one I gave you. I forgot already. The dog just came in and looked at me like, I think you've been doing this too long. Time to stop. Time to stop. It's Saturday, don't you know? Got my fan brush. Gonna clean this lid out. Transfer it to the bowl. More water. Hi, Scarlett. I love your name. You're late to the party. Well, we've covered a lot of different things. You guys can tell her about what we've done. In front of me is some playing around. Are you the one that is going to... are you about to do a whole bunch of fabric inking or making a fabric for a project? Because if you are, it did inspire the first part of the video. So be sure to watch the replay when this is over. Try to always pull everything out of the lid. Don't let it build up in your lid. It's such a waste of ink. Because once it gets stuck in there, it's really hard to get it out. And it happens from not saving the little seal and shaking your ink before you go to use it, how it all gets in there. So if you took off your little covers, you can take plastic bags, plastic baggies, take a piece of one, cut it on there, and then close the lid, and that'll keep the threads on the lid from getting stuck. And also you can then shake your bottle and you won't end up with all the ink going in the cap. So this one, apparently I lost my little seal, and now I'm thinking I have some cover up in here. I'll use cover up. Here it is. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to handle this by doing it, so I'm not upset with myself later. And this is the cover up that we have for embroidery that stops your, or blocks your fabric and makes it so that your threads stand up higher on your embroidery. It's a vinyl, so just take and lay a piece on top and then close your lid. This will make your ink last longer, keep the threads from getting stuck on the jar, allow you to shake and not have the ink get into the lid. And sometimes when we ship out, you'll actually receive some with these on it, and that's because every once in a while the paint manufacturers don't have their seals don't hold on really well. So then we'll go ahead and open every jar before we ship it and put a piece of plastic in there for you, because I care about you. So I'm going to dilute this down. And we're going to have a little bit of splatter fun. Not as crazy as using a toothbrush. And I'm just going to let it drop and not worry about it. Try to keep it away from the heart design. Some bigger drops, some smaller drops. This is the scary stuff. Now, say you just think those drops are just too small. So you can take your water and get the fabric wet to encourage that to spread out a little bit. If there was no whole light iron to the back of this fabric, that would have spread out a lot more. And I have two sides to this. So this side is dry right now. I'm going to go ahead and wet it first, so you can see the difference between having your fabric wet first. See how it spreads more? And this is just, you may not like what you see. You don't have to do this. I wanted to have some of this yellow. And now I'm going to, let's see, a little more. Definitely the fabric wet first is my favorite. See if I can't introduce some more spreading by adding more water after. And if there were no hold light, it would spread really far. So if you want it to spread really far, you don't have to use the hold light for like a large piece of fabric. You could just dip it in and drop it on and let it run out of, just run. All right, I'm going to stick this aside and save it in a place where I don't spill it. Unloading. All right, so I had some blue already poured in here. I don't want to waste it. This is my navy color, and I want to I want to add a lot of water to it. So that I have some lighter versions of it. And as I had mentioned before, you have these to really make this fun. So you can, and this is me introducing the colors that I decided to use based on this fabric that I thought looked good with this. What do you guys think so far? Are you freaking out because you liked it without the background color? Or do you guys like it? Art takes a little bit of courage. Now what you're seeing here is what I spoke about on Thursday, was that where I put the liquid-based glue, it's going to have kind of like a faded, or the fabric is going to be, when this is rinsed off, because the liquid-based isn't gone till it's rinsed off, it will have that kind of outline look. And I deliberately brushed it out so that it would have kind of a cloudy look. And so that result is happening, even though this is very wet paint. The masking that we used with the liquid-based glue, which is our buddy for just about everything we do when we're sewing, the water-soluble stabilizer in a bottle, I masked the fabric before I painted, to keep the ink, to keep the paint or ink, whatever you want to call it, on inside of the heart shape. It's a masking process. So that's why I'm able to pour such wet paint on there. Are you guys starting to like this? I can just pour it on. Ooh, get some real big areas. Have your brush ready just in case. In some areas, I don't want the blue to cover the yellow. I want sometimes the yellow to be really strong. Inconsistently consistent. You guys like it? Remember, start with wet fabric to get more spreading. So the evidence is in the proof, right? Whatever that means. What I was trying to say is, before I started, I was like showing you how we paint the liquid-based glue on there and how it blocks it off. Now, if I want to actually get blue to be there, I have to wash that liquid-based glue away and then apply more ink on there. So it depends on what you think. Do you guys like this look? I didn't brush it enough out over here to make it look the same. I like the fluffy, cloudy look on this side. I must have got distracted over here. So I'm going to try to scrub some of that liquid-based out. But here's the thing, if you're not going to wear this, the liquid-based glue could stay there forevermore. No one is ever going to tell it's on there. It's so thin. But getting it off is the idea, because I'm trying to do a science experiment here. Kind of looks like sun, cloudy skies, and in the distance there are more daisies. And we could actually do that, give the implication of more daisies by adding some white ink and making some petally looks. Petally looks. You guys liking it? See? Whoop, I just dripped. That wasn't good. Where do I put it? If I had a bigger mouth, no. I need to wipe that off before it stains any more my board under there. I know that underneath on my cutter pillar there is the edge-to-edge mat protecting it. So don't pick up your stuff and hold it sideways. If this isn't enough dark blue, then we can add dark blue. But before I do that, I want to make this side look like that side. Now I'm liking it. I like these colors. Pour some on. And I've got more blue in here. But we can always add more yellow afterward in a different way by having it not thin. Should I want to, but I think I can get carried away. Why aren't I hearing myself? Uh-oh. Give me a thumbs up if you guys are hearing me. So all of a sudden I couldn't hear myself. Apparently it was just my cell phone connection listening to the video. Phew. I'm almost done though. Hope you guys are enjoying the first Saturday version of Fabrically Speaking Live. Now, as you can see here, we have banding of the color, and I really like that. I want more of that, so I'm going to add a little bit more of the blue to this. And you would wait for it to dry and add more. But I can also just like drop a big blob. Let it spread. So some of these are going to be bigger than others. Kind of cool looking, huh? And I can allow it to just spread to that point or add more water to make it spread even further. What's so cool about this is fabric, you guys. This is fabric. So you don't have to make what I'm making out of it. Once it dries, it's gonna look like this. It's not gonna lose this appearance. Oh, you can't see that's out of the camera. So I'm just making a bigger dot. I got a little excited there. Sorry about that. So I'm making a bigger spot. Now I'm going to spray it from the side. And we can get up on it and move it around. So you're not stuck with where it is. Once the water dries, and this is why I really needed to bring my blow dryer in here. And you can allow it to flow by picking it up and letting it slide. You want to let it slide this way and creating that flow look. And the reason it is flowing is because of the hold light. Otherwise, it would just absorb into the fabric. You can also do things like just take your brush and create a repeating tap of that brush. This is the back of my notebook, so this is a good place to play. And then also just do some smaller dots with more pigment, thicker paint. So really, in the end, is going to be up to you. Taking brush down now. It's got like syrupy. And you could do cross-hatching designs by just moving it. So this is the back side of my notebook. I don't really care as much about what it looks like. But I do love the blue. Now I'm back to this side, the side that matters. So I've played around on the back, and now I can decide, do I like it? Do I like the darker blue or the lighter blue? And I can just not worry about that because that's that side of the notebook. What do you guys vote? I kind of like the look of maybe it's sunny up here and there's clouds coming down and casting onto that. I'm leaning toward leaving this side light blue. But it's fun to kind of show you how I kind of play around. Have a piece of fabric ready to play on. Practice with it. Figure out if you like it, what direction you want to go with it. Which is how this was conceived. So this was going to be the inside of my book, but now I'm leaning toward keeping these and creating another piece of material with these colors right here as the inside of my notebook. This is the original notebook that I did, and you can see the back side is different than the top. And then the inside is just plain fabric. So what I'm referring to when I say that, I'm going to make some of this look for the inside of this and inside of that, because this is stitched together. And next week on Fabrically Speaking Live, I will be stitching through this. So for the first 5 orders that came in today, get a heart sponge so that you can create some of the hearts that you saw in the first part of this video. If you missed the first part of this episode of Fabrically Speaking Live, you can watch it on the replay. And after this is over, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button on your way out, that helps the YouTube know that you had a good time in the live. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I sure hope you do so today. And I hope you enjoyed spending your Saturday with me for this special episode, Season 4, Episode 3 of Fabrically Speaking Live. Be sure to join my school at createwithclairerowley.com. After this is over, I will be posting close-up photography of this inside of the school where I let everyone know I was going live today. We also have a VIP group in there, and that is where you get the actual full pattern for this on how to make it into a notebook as well. Part of the pattern has already been uploaded. I will give you the sewing instructions soon. So when I give a pattern in the VIP group, I sometimes give you the first part and then I update. So if you haven't checked out the patterns and updated your pattern, you may have the original version of a particular pattern and be missing some of it. So I will be posting the next VIP Live, which is a Zoom soon, and look forward to seeing you in the school. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you all, and hope you have a really nice rest of your Saturday. I hope I inspired you to try something new and that you get that it's not difficult to do this. Right? Don't you think it's kind of easy? Love you guys. Bye. See you next time.